Good morning. It is Saturday. We're feeling a little tired and generally hungover from yesterday, but we're going for our formal viewing around Cambridge Cottage this morning.
Welcome to another episode of Toby Stupid Vlog.
So we booked for 11 o'clock, which is what that time was. This is Cambridge Cottage as it looks from Kew Green. And this is the entrance that you'd come in. Forgive the windiness. And yeah, so we're going to see it as would guests. If you're not quite paying attention, it is part of Kew Gardens. So this is number 37, Kew Green. And this is the secret way into the gardens, I suppose. This is the bit that everyone sees when they come from the garden side. It's currently being thoroughly redecorated inside, so it's completely empty right now. Which means we'll have to come back and look at it in March when they've finished. Yeah. This is Groundhog. Should we just have a look around? So this is the outside of Grove House. This is actually at the University of Roehampton, if you're interested. I'm just going to see some of the grounds as well, which are very nice. This is, we will be wisteria in the spring. We're just wandering beyond the lake. Having a look, upsetting the local coots and moorhens. Going to have a look at a folly bridge. It's actually surprisingly nice grounds hidden in the middle of a university in Roehampton. It's not what you'd expect. It's quite surprising. Good morning. We've just been to Cote for breakfast in Kingston. It's a very miserable day and we were out of breakfast ideas, so we were going to come to Kingston anyway. So this seemed like an excellent excuse. So now we're going to go on a shop-o-thon. Good afternoon. So we're back from Kingston. The weather has the wind's died down, so you can actually feel the ambient temperature, which is actually quite nice. It's about 12 degrees. It's going to be quite warm tomorrow as well, but equally rubbish, like wet and grey. And then it's going to improve a bit, so I'm quite looking forward to that, although I am basically in an office for 5 days next week. So I might get a walk on Wednesday morning, if it's not terrible out. That's what I'm hoping for. And then I've got Albert's first birthday at some point next weekend. It's actually on Thursday, but everybody's working, except him, presumably. So you're going to do something next weekend. But for this week, I've got all those videos that we shot last week in South Manchester and Preston and Wigan and Camden. I'm going to be editing all those together in a sort of vlog style, so not dissimilar to this, except less walking. And yeah, that's going to be 4 days, slight craziness. And Wednesday is going to be, Thursday afternoon I'm going to be up in Camden again. Engineering a radio show, so you know, it keeps me busy, and theoretically I have another job that I'm supposed to be doing at the same time, although I don't have most of the assets or really much at all, frankly, so it remains to be seen exactly how that's going to work. Anyhow, today is tax return day for most people, so happy tax return day. If you're watching this and thinking, oh crap, well, it's too late because this isn't going up until some point next week. So you've missed the tax return deadline. You're in a lot of trouble. So anyway, you'll know next year. My advice, and you're not going to like this, but so, you know, tough, but is that when you get to about May, do your tax return. Because if you have to do a tax return and you don't just get all your earnings PAYE, then it's better to do it when you can still remember the things you did in the last year. If you leave it till the following January, you won't remember anything. It'll be a nightmare. So don't put it off, just do it. It also means that you can actually pay your tax before everyone else has even done their tax return. Now you might think that's a terrible idea, but in terms of a weight lifted, it's actually quite a positive one. And unless your tax bill is absolutely enormous, in which case you might want to keep the money and earn a bit of interest, it does help with your finances. So think upon that. Good morning. It's Monday. I'm on my way to work. It's very grey, and it's exactly what you don't want on a Monday morning, pretty much. Then again, it is February, which is notoriously cold as a month. January was kind of so-so. The biggest thing that sucked about January is that we lost David Bowie, Alan Rickman, and yesterday Sir Terry Wogan. So January has a lot to answer for, if I'm honest. And before that we lost Lemmy from Motorhead. So basically someone's creating a sort of art council up there. Anyway, just passed a really big truck coming out of the crematorium that was actually carrying two of the crematorium's internal chimneys, which they obviously replace now and again because they get a bit, old and rusty and what have you. But seeing as who's been interned at that crematorium, those chimneys have seen really the great and the good. But they're probably about to down and turn into a children's toy now, so that's good. This is like a sort of right said Fred. How many men does it take to put up a piece of grey cloth?
It's green.
Oh yes, it's green.
Did you send the printer off for me, please?
Yes, certainly. There we go. Steve is erecting a green screen made of grey, and Vince is sexually assaulting some equipment in the background.
For the first time.
Very blue.
You are blue.
Abadi, Abadai.
Because that light's quite
I
close.
remember it like casting a blue
Okay,
light. That's
okay.
better.
Going
That's actually,
backwards.
so now it's formed a blue screen, but it's still a fucking load of creases in it.
A crease, did
That
you
was-
say?
That's, yeah.
That's weird, isn't
What
it?
did you say is wrong with it, Vince?
Oh, no.
Creases?
You can't see the creases with the light.
No.
Really, I'm not quite central. That's
Yeah,
probably...
it needs to be dead centre.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clever idea.
So
Am I
now...
green there now, or is the green
No,
thing?
you're not very green. You're
A little bit green.
But you're not terrible.
But you could.
You'd have to put it back further. Go back further.
Okay.
Watch
Yeah.
out for this. Watch out for that. Watch out for that.
That's actually much better.
And then if I have white lights on me as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully.
That's weird how such a little amount of light makes that green, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
tiny.
Yeah, I'm amazed we've never used
Actually,
it.
it's quite good. It's better than I remember.
What should we chrome it back in?
Why
under
don't
the
you
ocean?
get an actual camera though, and just see if you can chrome it nicely. Chrome it.
Good morning. It's going to be nice later today. Not yet though. I'm making the most of it anyway. Got the stroll along the towpath. It's the slightly longer way to Mortlake Station, but it's worth it. So today is Groundhog Day. In the States, that is. And it's the day that the groundhog is supposed to come out of their burrow and have a look around and see what the weather's like, and then make a decision about when spring's going to start. So in theory, if he comes out and the sun's out and he sees his own shadow, then he gets rather scared and runs back underground, and then spring doesn't start for another 6 weeks. But if he comes out and it's like this and it's been grey and miserable, then the theory is that spring will start on time. So I don't know what it's going to be like where the groundhogs live, because I haven't checked the weather forecast. I'm sure there'll be plenty of coverage in the news if you're interested. It's also the morning after the Iowa straw poll, which is the first step in the American primaries before we get to the presidential election in November. As it stands this morning, Donald Trump lost, much to everyone's amazement, apart from the actual pollsters, and the Democratic primary is too close to call between Hillary and Bernie. I'm not sure I have an opinion on things just yet, it's far too early. Steve, driver of railway lines. We've just been out for a meal in Kew.
and now we're waiting for Tom to lighten his load. In the meantime, I don't think I've actually shown you this. This is the queue board at the moment. They've got trains planned well into next week as things stand.
As always, that was a very fun night out. In fact, we went to Kew Verdi, which is a great little Italian restaurant in Kew, and by some strange coincidence, Jensen Button was also having a nice meal there, so it's that good. Yeah, so that was our sort of bi-monthly meetup, which we're going to try and do again one by month from now, I should hope. In other non-dinner related news, useful piece of advice here: don't leave your bag in the pub. Just thought I'd pass that on. You never know when that might come in handy. Anyway, as I was saying, it was very nice to see Tom and catch up, because it's been since our Christmas meeting in December. I've seen Steve every day this week, so you know I was over that, frankly. But it's a nice little restaurant, and we don't actually catch up all that regularly if we're not working directly together, so that was fun. Adam didn't make it down from the coast because he's shit at time management. But we will be seeing Adam, regardless of what happens with our next meetup in March. We will be seeing Adam in June. I'm going to say June for his stag do in Brussels. So that could be quite fun. Well, it should be. As I mentioned, it is Groundhog Day, but I'm allowed to mention that a lot of times because it is Groundhog Day. And I know it's Groundhog Day because, one, the internet, and two, a bloke called Phil keeps ringing me. He wanted to talk mainly about video work, but also when he came out of his burrow, he did notice that it was cloudy, and therefore, good news, spring is starting on time.
So we'll be done by 5, if Vin shuts up.
Yeah, Vince.
Good afternoon. It's Thursday. It is therefore Albert's birthday. It's his first birthday, so he's completely oblivious to the whole thing. We're going to see him at the weekend, although what day, don't yet know. Thought I'd talk to you a bit about where we're up to with wedding planning. So we've seen every venue we're going to see, and you've seen them too on these vlogs, and we've seen one of them, in fact, multiple times, and we have a date on hold, and we have questions for the caterers. So if all of that is resolved in the next couple of days, which we're hoping it will be, I'll give you more details about what and when. Yeah, we're very much hoping that by the time we get to the weekend, we will have a date booked and a venue booked and a caterer's decided upon. And then it's just all the other million expenses that we have to worry about over the next year or so. So then, that's it for this week. I've spent the last day or so in various people's studios and offices and what have you. I've got one more week of the NDCS project, and then we're into unknown territory a little bit. But thank you very much for watching this week. Hasn't been as much travelling, probably for the best. Just a lot more ranting and drinking. It's definitely the way forward. I hope you'll subscribe, and I hope we'll see you next week.